All right, guys, welcome back to Vision of Victory. Your friend Ricardo Vaca. Today's special guest is Mark the Officiant. Thank you for being here, bro.
Thank you for
Happy
having
you're here,
me.
man.
Yeah.
But you've been on the podcast where people focus on your story, bro. Cancer, divorce, single fatherhood. Why did you feel called to shift the focus now towards leadership?
Yeah, I mean, exactly like you said, I talk a lot about my cancer journey, which I enjoy sharing that part of my life with people. But, and I'll be vulnerable and talk about things I went through with my divorce, and I'll be vulnerable with, my teaching career and wedding career and things like that. But I really wanted to highlight something that I'm very passionate about that maybe not a lot of people know is leadership, the topic of being a leader and what that means, what that looks like. So I actually majored in leadership. I have a master's degree in leadership development.
Okay.
And so I studied leadership for about 2 years at Azusa Pacific University. And I really am infatuated with what it means to be a leader, how to lead in difficult situations, and even the leadership of today, how leaders are in today's world, in today's current society. Leadership is something I'm very passionate about, and I'm excited to just discuss leadership and hopefully bring some value or actually have people think like, I never seen it like that, or kind of think differently about leadership.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I mean, definitely happy that you're here with us still, man. That you went through that hardship and you're doing good now, man. You look good. You look great.
Thank you so much.
But if you had to summarize your life's mission today in a sentence, what would it be?
My life's mission in one sentence would be to love God, love people, raise good kids, and be of service to others.
Gotcha. And then of service, you say of service, is that what leadership's about, would you say?
That's part of it. Yeah, leadership has different aspects to it, but I think being a servant and helping others succeed, whether it be in their relationship, in their workplace, as individuals, helping them succeed in one way or another, and just partnering with them or pouring into them or mentoring them. Gotcha. I think that all involves some sort of leadership.
Gotcha, brother. And just kind of walk us through the journey of your college career for leadership. How was that?
Yeah. So I was working at Azusa Pacific University for a couple years.
Oh, so you were working there?
Yeah, I was working there, and they offered a tuition discount if you work there. You can go to school there for a lower rate.
Yeah.
And so I figured, you know what? Hey, might as well get my master's degree and study something that I'm actually interested in.
Right.
And so I was looking at all the different master programs, and they had, you can get your business degree, you can get all these other marketing and communications, all these other types of specialized interests. And when I saw that you can get your master's in leadership development, that just popped out to me. And I was like, that's what I want to study is leadership and developing other leaders and what that looks like. And so, I signed up, and it is a biblical, Christian type of school.
Okay.
And so that was a plus for me because I am a Christian. And so, studying leadership and at a Christian university was just like perfect for me.
Awesome,
so
man.
I loved it. It was a great experience. The professors were great, and I was really able to dive into certain books that they gave us as curriculum.
Gotcha.
And I still have those books till this day.
Okay.
And I'll crack them open for some quotes or as references to look back on even now, years later.
For sure, man. And is there a professor that that till this day like stood out to you, like something he
Yeah.
said or something he did that kind of impacted your life and how you see
I mean,
it?
there's two that I'm thinking of just immediately as you said that. One of them is Gary LeMaster.
Okay.
And he,
LeMaster? I like
yeah,
that.
I know. I got my master's with Gary LeMaster.
That's cool.
So yeah, I think it was like his last year teaching.
Oh,
and so
okay.
he was teaching leadership for a number of years. And he was just great because it was such a, like he taught with ease. Like he taught very, like it wasn't hard for him to invest in young people about leadership. It was just so smooth.
Yeah.
And so I really liked that style. And he modeled, what it is to be a good leader. Like he led by example. And just his life stories that he would share with us and stuff. So he was a great professor at APU. And then there was also another one. She was a female. I'm forgetting her name right now. I think it was Jenny or Janine or something like that. She was really awesome because she created a fail resume. So it's like, when you have a resume, you list your job experiences and, things that you've accomplished, your skills and things like that.
Okay.
Well, she actually published on LinkedIn, she published a fail resume. So all the jobs that rejected her, all the things that she's not good at.
Really?
And it just became this like really, really cool, like humbling sheet of like, this is what I'm actually bad at. This is what I
That's
failed
interesting.
at. And it was really cool because it kind of got you interested in, well, if you're bad at that, then does it mean the opposite, that you're really good at the other thing, So it was a really cool way. And that will always stick out to me and how she did that and just kind of flipped it on us.
But did she say that was like intentional? Or
Definitely intentional. Yeah. It was like an exercise of like coming to truths with your strengths and your weaknesses.
Gotcha.
And I think a lot of people, especially college students, they take pride in what they're good at. And they're very like, well, I can do this and I can move this data and be, do marketing and do this. And it's like, that's good, but do you know your weakness? Do you know what you're struggling with? And how are you either A, trying to improve that, or B, just aware of that, where you know that you need help in those areas so you can pull from other resources. So it was a really cool tactic. So those two professors really stood out to me during my time at APU.
That kind of goes into, I guess, kind of like people like the raw you. They want to see the unfiltered. So that kind of falls in line with showing what you're not good at, right?
Yeah, I mean, transparency. Being authentic.
For sure, man. But you studied servant leadership and earned a master's in leadership. What was the moment or experience that made you realize leadership was your calling?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for as long as I can remember, I have been involved in some sort of leadership in some way, shape, or form. So just to give you some background, I am the firstborn out of my family. Like, my mom and dad had me first.
Okay.
And then they had my brother Isaac, my sister Chantel. My sister Chantel, my sister Raquel, and then my brother Isaac.
Okay.
So there's 4 of us. And so naturally, when you're the firstborn, your siblings look up to you. And they kind of like, copy you or view you as
by default, right? By
role
default,
model.
they're
By default. Yeah.
They're copying you in one thing or another.
Exactly. So that was kind of like I was born into that position type thing. So there was that. And then in school, even in elementary school, I was like a leader in school. In elementary school, they grouped they asked students like, hey, do you want to be a mediator? So a mediator was a student who was like, they would go out to recess, and if there was like a conflict or a fight or something, the mediator will come and say, hey, you know, we'll try to solve it, or like give people time to talk it out and stuff. And before it goes to the teacher or before it goes to someone higher, like the principal.
Yeah.
So we as students would be student mediators, and we would kind of like lead by example and lead.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah. And they actually have it at my kids' school.
Okay.
So my son is now a mediator as
Oh,
well.
nice.
My son
That's
Levi.
cool, man.
Yeah, shout out to Levi.
Yeah,
He's my
shout out,
my
man.
son, and he's following in my footsteps. Like I was a mediator when I was in elementary school, and now he is in 5th grade, and he is a mediator as well.
Man, that's cool. How does that feel, bro, to see that?
It feels great. I mean, I try to invest in my kids in every single way, and I encouraged him to join that because he was kind of hesitant, like, well, what is that, and what do I have to do and stuff. And so I was able from experience to tell him, hey, you know, dad was a mediator and this is what I did, and it's just a great way to get your foot in the door of like how it feels to solve conflict, and how it feels to be in charge of two people and mediate their conversation. So in elementary school I was a mediator, and then in middle school I was 8th grade class president. So at South Whittier Middle School, shout out to South Whittier Panthers.
So,
now they're called
leadership was your calling already.
It was cool. And then in high school I was senior class president. And so I went to Santa Fe High School, and I was the senior class president of the senior class, which was great. You know, that was a great experience. That's when I really stepped into my calling the most, and that's what really propelled me to be invested in leadership and want to like polish my craft or get to know like leadership in a deeper way.
But who was the first person that you modeled leadership? Like, who was your mentor? Who'd you look up to?
So I would say my grandpa Jim. He was a great leader, just a tall, I mean, you know, physical aspects of people matter. You know, people could say no, it doesn't matter, but it actually does. Like if you're tall, you're going to be noticed. You know, if you hold yourself with confidence, you're going to be noticed. You know, so he was a tall, confident man, and he was an entrepreneur. And he was someone who he was a president of like a car club at one time. He was heavily involved in his church, and so he had a group of people, ushers, that he was in charge of and led.
He was just leading
and
all
so
around.
So he just, you know, and he was a great father, a great grandfather. He was just great in terms of leading and speaking, and he just taught me a lot by example of just how to lead and how to take charge, how to figure things out, and be your own boss. You know, so it was great. He was the first one, I think, that really modeled that for me in my life. And then you have other people like celebrities or entertainers, and you know, pastors or teachers and stuff like that. Of course,
and for you, a big one is, like you mentioned, Martin Luther King Jr., right?
Yes. So I love Martin Luther King Jr., and he till this day I still study his leadership, and I study his you know, his life. I love reading books on Martin Luther King, and just, you know, listening to podcasts on him or reviews on like his life and stuff. So he impacted me in many ways, and still does till this day. He was amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. How did your experience as a father, a cancer survivor, an officiant, refine your view of what true leadership is?
Man, you know, grouping all of that together is pretty heavy. Like you said, a father, an officiant, a cancer survivor, like all of that has shaped me in different ways. But as far as leadership goes, it taught me that sometimes leadership roles will come to you. Like sometimes if you're prepared and you're ready to take charge of a situation, or if you're ready to be authentic and share, opportunities will come to you.
Yeah.
And so for me, a lot of opportunities came to me after beating cancer. I was able to join a group as an ambassador. I'm an ambassador for a cancer app.
Okay.
It's called Cancer Buddy.
Yeah.
And so that app is an app made for cancer patients, caregivers,
Yeah.
and survivors of cancer.
Yeah.
And it's just an app where all of those types of people can come together as a community in one space and lean on each other and be resources for one another. So I became an ambassador for that
Awesome,
app,
man. Yeah.
and that's been a great experience. And then I was able to share my story with different news outlets like the Today Show, Yahoo.com, Unilad, like all these different news outlets were able to interview me about my story about surviving cancer and dealing with esophageal cancer. That's the type of cancer I had. So those opportunities allowed me to lead the way or pave the way in terms of bringing knowledge about what is esophageal cancer and how was my experience having it, stage 2, you know, and so in a way, you know, you never know what type of opportunities will come to you and kind of allow you to lead the way within those opportunities.
And how did you, were you like ready to take on all that for yourself, or
I mean,
or were you're just attacking it?
Yeah, it's hard because I'm still in recovery from cancer.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of side effects
Yeah.
from the chemotherapy that I endured. So there's this thing called neuropathy where you get this like tingly, numb sensation on the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes.
Okay.
And so even now, till this day, this very moment, I can't really feel my toes that much because of the side effects of my neuropathy. So, and then my stomach shrunk during the process. And so I have to wait for it to expand. The doctor said it's going to take some time for my stomach to expand again.
Okay.
So I eat like kids' meals when I go out.
Really?
Like I can just eat like a kid's meal and then I get full, you know? So there's, you know, I look okay, but there are certain things that I am dealing with as I recover from fighting cancer. Yeah. So so that's been tough, but yeah, when the opportunity came to me, I was willing to take it, and I was willing to share my story because of all the prior experiences that I've had in my past. Going to school to study leadership, being a leader in school, in you know, my workplace as a wedding officiant. I'm leading. I'm taking charge of ceremonies and conducting them, and you know, leading couples into their destiny. Really, you know. So it's kind of like where preparation meets opportunity. It was one of those things.
Awesome, man. So, awesome. I know we're shifting a little bit from, you know, talking about your story, but you shared it with me last time, and I thought it was a great story, like about you know, when you told your kids about it. Like, could you just walk us through that moment, and how were you feeling, and how they took it, you know?
Yeah. I'll be happy to share that story again with you. So I found out I had cancer on a Friday afternoon. It was June 21st, 2024. And I found out that I had cancer. My parents drove me home, and I was faced with a choice. Do I tell my kids now, or do I wait, or do I not tell them?
Yeah.
And I'm very open with my kids and very transparent with them. So I knew that it was the right time to tell my kids.
Yeah.
Like I just found out a couple hours ago, and I'm going to tell my kids
Yeah.
that, you know,
Were
a
you
couple hours
kind of
later.
afraid to tell them though, or?
You know, no, not really. I wasn't afraid to tell them because I actually, it's funny. It's a funny story because just to give you some context, when you receive news like that you have cancer, you have just so many questions. Like, am I going to die from cancer? What stage is it?
Yeah.
What type of treatment am I going to get? Like you just have so many questions. Unfortunately, my questions weren't answered right away. I was kind of like left in the dark. I was just told, you have cancer. We'll talk to you a little later about it. Follow up with us on Monday. So it was tough. So immediately I went into this like, this mode, this mindset of I have to be strong for my family.
Yeah.
So I told my mom, I told my dad, I told my brother, I told my sisters, my ex-wife was there. I told my ex-wife, and my kids were there. And so I figured I would tell my kids. And so I wasn't afraid to tell anyone. I was more in the mindset of like, I want to tell them, and I hope they're okay. I hope they don't freak out.
Yeah.
I was more concerned about the people that I care about rather than myself. I kind of I'll deal with it later, but I want to make sure everyone's okay. So it wasn't really like a fear. It was mainly like I got into like a are they okay mode.
Yeah.
So I told my kids, we were outside in the backyard on the steps, and I looked at my son and my daughter, and I said, Daddy just found out that he has cancer. Cancer is, something that I'm going to have to deal with for the next couple months, maybe even years.
Yeah.
I might look different. There might be a point where I have to shave my head, or my hair is going to fall out. I'm going to be going to the doctors a lot more. And I just wanted to share with you, that's what's going on with your dad. And my daughter, she looked at me and she said, her name's Leah. She was like, Dad, is cancer contagious? Yeah. And I was like, no, cancer's not contagious. So Daddy's able to hug you, and you can lean on me, and we'll you could touch me, like it's okay. Like I'm not gonna transfer my cancer to you. So that was a great question that she asked me. And then the follow-up question was, are you going to have cancer during Christmas? And this was in the summer. So she was already thinking about like 6 months later. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. And she's like, are we going to get Christmas presents still? She was concerned about getting gifts and stuff. And I'm like, yes, you'll still get Christmas presents, and you'll still get Christmas gifts. And so, so those were her questions. And then my son, he's very matter of fact, like he's very factual and intellectual. And he looked at me and he was like, his name's Levi. He was like, Dad, cancer's deadly, right? And he just like looked at me, and I was like, yeah, cancer can be deadly, but some people survive cancer. Some people don't, but I do know that it can be deadly. And he looked at me and he was like, well, you have us. We're gonna help you, and we're not gonna leave you, and we're gonna fight with you.
Damn, that's great.
And so he just like gave me the confidence, like we're with you, and just I love what he said, and so it was great to kind of hear both of their takes on it, and I knew immediately after just talking to them, like I felt better. I felt like
definitely.
Good. I told the most important people in my life, and now it's time to face this journey.
Tackle it, right?
Tackle it. And I did.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. And
we did.
Yeah. But let's go back to the leadership,
Yeah.
And do you believe leaders are born or are they made?
Well, how I'll answer that is I don't believe everybody can be a leader. There's so many people, especially nowadays, that have platforms that maybe shouldn't have a platform.
Really?
Like there's people that lead that maybe shouldn't lead. It's
Yeah.
like not everybody can have the mic. Not everybody can take charge.
Gotcha.
And the reason why I say that is because if everybody was a leader, there would be no followers.
Yeah.
And I think to have a functional society and a healthy society, you need leaders and followers.
Yeah.
And some of the best leaders were followers or still are followers in some way.
Yeah.
And so I think leadership can be studied and learned. But I don't think a leadership role is for everyone. I think you
Gotcha.
have to naturally have some sort of like calling or some sort of destiny to be a leader and take charge. However, some will argue and say at some point in your life, you're going to lead a situation at some point in your life, which is fine, but that doesn't necessarily make someone a leader. It maybe just means that you had to lead at one point in your life.
Gotcha.
But to be a leader, I hold that, at a higher standard. It's a higher responsibility, and it's something that I do not take lightly. If you're a leader, you better lead, and you better be a good leader, and you better take charge, and you better lead with integrity, intention. You better lead in a good way and for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone who's listening and like, man, I can't be a leader or something. Like you could definitely, study it. And most of you, who probably clicked on this or want to learn more are already leaders. Like, you're a leader, that you're leading at your workplace, you're a manager or supervisor, or you're some sort of like leadership role in an organization or at a church or you admire leaders or whatever it may be. So I don't want to be negative or discourage anyone from being a leader, but from experience and from knowing a lot of leaders and talking to a lot of leaders, it's just something that is in you and something that you develop and you answer that call and you become the best leader you can be. So
when you come across someone and what's one thing that you notice that when you see a leader, like what's that one thing that you see or that you look for?
To me, a leader has that spark, that like, oh, I need to do a double take. Like there's something special about that person, or there's something that stands out about that guy or that girl.
Okay.
Like you just have like, some people will call it the it factor, the aura. So the young people of today, you have an aura about you. Yeah. You have that presence. You command that authority already naturally. Yeah. So when I see leaders, I view them and I can spot them as people who may think differently. Maybe are outside of the box and they don't follow the crowd.
Okay.
People who are doing their own thing. People who are not afraid to offend other people.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of people nowadays, they walk on eggshells or they don't really say how they feel because they're afraid that someone might judge them or they might offend other people. Yeah. But a true leader will say how they feel, and a true leader will be the one to stand out from the crowd and just say, hey, I don't agree, or I don't think that way. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a leader.
Have you ever came across someone that said was a leader and you're like, Not really, bro. You're not it. No.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so I want to call a couple people out. Just kidding. No,
Let's do it.
no. Yeah, I mean, so what I, that's funny. That's a funny question, actually. How I would answer that is, I think there are some people, and I kind of touched on it earlier when I said that not everyone can have a mic, not everyone could have a platform.
Yeah.
I think people ruin it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to say like, oh, you shouldn't be a leader,
Yeah.
or like, bro, why are you trying to lead? Like, you're not a leader. Like, first of all, I would never tell someone that, because I don't think it's my place to distinguish like who's a leader or who's not.
Gotcha.
Like, I think it's my place to understand like whether they're leading well or not leading well.
Okay.
I think that's different. But I would never tell someone like, oh, bro, you're not a leader. Like, stop. You know, if they are interested in being a leader and trying to lead, I think they can definitely, or if they feel called to lead, I think they can like sharpen their craft and learn.
Yeah.
But while we're on that same wavelength, that same subject, I just want to say it's almost as equally important to be a follower as it is a leader. So if you're not a leader and you're realizing I'm not really good at leading, or I have no influence, or I call myself a leader, but yet there's nobody that I'm leading. Like, there's no one looking at me for advice, for mentorship, for influence. And so if you look at your life and you're leading nobody, I'm sorry, you're not a leader.
Gotcha.
So what I would say to that person is then put on the hat of being a follower. Be the best follower that you can be. Whoever you admire, whoever you want to be like, study them, follow them, learn how they became who they are. And before you know it, maybe that will teach you how to be a better leader, you know?
I've heard it from you, and I've heard it from several other entrepreneurs. You know, they say to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower, right? So what's like the context on that? Like,
so while I was at APU studying leadership, I read a book called Followership. And so that book was really all about being the best follower that you can be, and how it's not bad to be a follower. You know, when I was growing up in my generation, it was looked down upon. Like, don't be a follower. Like, stand out. You know, don't follow the crowd. If your friends are gonna jump off a cliff, like, are you gonna jump off the cliff? Like, you know, that was like kind of the setting, the like tone of my generation growing up. And so it was looked down upon to be a follower. So when I read the book on followership, I was like, oh wow, like this is kind of hard for me to digest, because in my brain I was ingrained to don't be a follower, don't be a follower, don't be a follower. And now this book is telling me to be the best follower. So it was kind of contradicting to how I was brought up. So when I read the book, I was I had some great takeaways, because I realized that as a Christian, as someone who practices my faith, I am a follower of Jesus. You know what I mean? So there's that word follower. And in that case, that's actually looked like it's honored, it's respected, it's valued. Like, oh, you're a follower of Christ. You know what I mean? So I want to shift people's perception of what it means to be a follower, and let them know that it's okay to be a follower. And some of our best leaders are the best followers.
Yeah, the best followers. Yeah, that's good, man. What's the biggest misconception people have about servant leadership?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that servant leadership is like you get no, like, you're just in the background. Like, you're just in the background in the kitchen. You're in the, you know, not in the forefront or in the limelight. You're just someone doing like the low jobs in the background. And that's such a misconception, because as you serve, like, take okay, from what I do, for example, I am an ordained minister and I serve my couples. I serve at their wedding and I provide a service to give them the best ceremony of their dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I take pride in being a servant. I take pride in giving my service to two people who found love, who paid a bunch of money for the venue, the photographer, videographer, got dressed up, invited the most important people in their life. And it's my responsibility to deliver and serve and provide the best wedding ceremony in the world for them. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm a servant. I'm leading them into their marriage, their destiny as a married couple. And it's not in the background. It's not like, oh, I'm just this servant. It's like even the word servant sounds so oh, I'm a peasant. I'm this like, woe is me. No, you're a servant. Like you're serving. You're offering service. You're helping someone's life. Get better. Whether their relationship is getting better, their wedding just got better.
You're part of you're part of a huge memory.
That's a huge moment. I do not take what I do lightly.
So I'm curious, bro. So is there, when you have a ceremony to do you ever feel like you don't want to do it, or you kind of feel off? And if you do, how do you get out of it, because it's such an important day for them and it's not about you?
Oh man. So I've done over 222 weddings. And that's a lot. I mean, there's people who've done way more than me, but 222 times, are you always 100%?
I say no.
No. You're not. You're not always 100%. Sometimes you went to bed late because you had an argument with an ex-wife or something, or sometimes you went to bed late because your son had to go to the emergency room and you were in the ER, with him or her, your daughter, or your kids, or whatever. Sometimes you watched a movie that was really triggering and made you feel a certain type of way about love and about commitment, and really you had to wrestle with it, but yet you're doing a wedding in a few hours and you have to show up and be so happy for them and give them the best experience. So I've learned, and this goes even when I was a substitute teacher. I was a substitute teacher for 4 years, and I had to show up to a classroom and be the best teacher to them, after going through whatever. You learn how to leave your personal issues and your personal feelings. You put that aside and you take a deep breath and you say, I'm going to be of service to these students in this classroom. I'm going to be of service to this couple at their wedding. I'm going to be of service. I also serve at my church. And so I'm going to be of service to these members at this church. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've mastered how to do that and how to put myself aside and my feelings aside, whether it's a quick prayer before I step in, whether it's listening to Blink 182 or No Doubt, that's really high, alternative music that's pumping me up to go in there and give good vibes and good happy experiences. But I've learned how to do that in a healthy way, to where I show up, because when you're a servant leader and you're providing service, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about providing a beautiful service. And so I've learned very well how to give, and people who either were my students or people who were my couples, or people at my church, they will know that I show up and that I offer like a great experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see the TikToks, man, that you do. You're like, it look cool. It looks
yeah,
fun.
like, hey, everyone, I just married.
Yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah. So I give my best.
Yeah.
And that's any leader. Any leader is probably listening to this or watching this being like, yep, I know how that feels like. Even presidents, Obama, Trump, like all these presidents probably were in positions where they had to put their stuff aside and lead and be there for the country, for the people. You know what I mean? So when you're a leader, you master putting your feelings aside and just leading with integrity, honesty, compassion, and service.
Yeah. So that's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I asked you that because it's personal, because I have an issue where if I get really angry, like it really takes me out. It could take me out for a day or two, and
We're
it's
human.
but it's I'm trying to unlearn that because I know it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked that, because it's good to know.
I mean, the little like practical advice is definitely listening to music. Like your favorite song, your favorite band, your favorite musical artist that really gives you those good vibes and that happy mindset. Another thing too is to like promise yourself that you're gonna like revisit that issue. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like I would tell myself, okay, after this wedding, I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant and I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna like journal, or I'm gonna sit down and cry, or I'm gonna sit down and write a song or a poem. Like I would promise myself that I would handle that emotion or deal with those feelings, or go to the gym and just like punch the punching bag like crazy, or work out like crazy, whatever your go-to is that like helps relieve your stress. Just promise yourself that you're gonna do that after you handle this situation. You know what I mean? After you provide that service, you promised yourself that you would, take it out at the gym, or make that phone call to reconcile with whoever you were arguing with or had beef with. For sure. So that's that's a practical thing that I give to you that you can do.
And for today's leadership, man, what's missing? What do you think is missing in business, community, or even faith?
Oh man. Okay. So I took some notes because I like I said, I take leadership very seriously, and I don't want to mess anything up. So what's
get this
missing?
canceled? No, I'm just kidding.
What's missing in today's leadership world? I would say patience. To sum it up in one word, people do not have enough patience in today's world to really let things pan out or let things play out. They want immediate results, immediate answers, immediate everything. And for me, I think that's unrealistic. Sometimes it takes a while to gather information. It takes a while to release information, and it takes a while to even develop where you're trying to go or what you're trying to do. You don't become a bodybuilder overnight. You go to the gym every day. You train, you eat well. Like there's steps that you take to get where you are. And so I think so many times people, even especially in today's world, they want immediate everything, and that's just unrealistic. So I would say to those people, be patient, give people time to develop, and that reminds me of like Donald Trump. President Trump. So many people
that's it.
dislike him.
No,
I know, right? This podcast over. You lost me. Like, trust me, I'm not this like Trumper guy who's like, oh, I think he's the greatest thing in the world. Like, don't get me wrong. But what I will say, and I don't want to spend too much time on him because I don't know him personally, but what I will say is that a lot of people are judging him his first year in office. And it's like, I would say to them, let him pan out his term, like
patience,
4 years. Let him do the rest of his term and see where we're at as a country. and see what he's really done as we evaluate what did he do these past 4 years. I know he was in office for 4 years prior, but now these current 4 years, like we can evaluate that looking back, like, okay, what did he really do? I mean, talking about his character, like, yeah, he's not the kindest man in the world. I get that. He's not a kind man.
Yeah.
He's done bad things or whatever you want to say. Like, I'm not going to be,
what type of leader would you describe him?
I think he has like this business mindset as a leader.
Okay.
I think he's very direct. There's actually a list of different types of leaders that you can fall under. There's like a visionary, a democratic leader, a coaching leader, transformational leader, a charismatic leader, and then the servant leader. You know, so there's different types. I think he's someone who speaks with authority, assurance. He's someone who gets a lot of things done. That's one thing that I will say that's kind of like a positive about him, in my opinion, is that he handles business.
Okay.
And for me, I think sometimes CEOs of companies or pastors or leaderships, people who are in leadership roles, they struggle with getting things done in the workplace or at church or at their school. They struggle with execution.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like actually following through what their plans, their goals, their numbers and things like that. So that's the one thing I really like about President Donald Trump, is that he's able to follow through with many things, and he's able to get things done. Whereas I will just blatantly say it, the other president, Joe Biden, just didn't get anything done.
Yeah.
You know, he sucked at execution.
Okay. What kind of leader would you label him? Because I mean, he was a president. He was, technically a leader.
To give him the benefit of the doubt, I admired his leadership when he was a lot younger.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's gone through some horrible things in his life, you know, losing his son, and he's gone through a lot of things that that has, you know, even being elderly and up there in age, you know, all of those things played a role in why I don't think he was a good president. But yeah, I think when in his younger years, he was great. He was more alive, more bright, and more assertive, and I think he would have brought forth change and execution a lot more better. But I just think it had a lot to do with his elderly age, and a lot to do with society wanting to just kick Trump out and just we'll get anyone to replace Trump. Like, let's just throw Joe Biden in, you know, and so it almost happened with Kamala Harris as well, just to kind of like throw anybody in there. And I'm glad that we didn't do that. But yeah, I don't want to go too much on Donald Trump.
You're gonna get me canceled, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? I just,
it's all good, man.
But part of being a leader, and I am a leader, is saying those hard things, talking about those hard, controversial. I think that's what's
missing today, though. People don't want to. They don't want to have the hard conversations.
Yeah. You know I mean, I debate all the time with my friends,
Yeah.
and there's one friend in particular that where we always talk about Donald Trump to each other and stuff, and it's funny because it's just so many people get so hurt and like offended, and it's like, I'm not gonna unfollow you, like I'm not gonna like talk bad at you about you, I'm not gonna call you a Trumper, I'm not gonna like group you into this like group,
or liberal, or
I'm not gonna do that. Like I am for all people. I love people. I want to listen to both sides. I don't want to be narrow-minded. You know, I'm the type of person that really cares about people, especially the American people. I'm proud to be an American, and I want what's best for America and what's best for my neighbors, you know, my fellow citizens. Like, I want what's best for everybody. And so, you know, yeah, I'll just end it with that. Is just saying that I love all people, and I care about what, I think so many people are led with their emotions, and they're not led with their like logical, like practical, like reality. Like, let's just talk about reality and talk about things without getting so fired up and without getting so emotional. I don't think it's healthy to be emotionally driven. So
Okay. And how much of a percentage would you say that being emotionally driven is good? Sometimes emotion brings out the best out of people, but could also bring the bad out.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that dynamic?
I mean, so I worked in education, as I mentioned, for 4 years, and unfortunately, a lot of people that I've encountered, they're very emotional, and they're very they get hurt easily, and easily offended, easily turned off, like easily put off as well.
Yeah.
And so what I say to that is that people need to, one, be more patient with other people. If you're turned off right away, you don't have any patience with people. You actually have zero patience, and you immediately put up that wall, and you just stop. You halt relationships. You halt the ability to have a beautiful conversation, and you stunt that because you have zero patience.
Gotcha.
And you're led with your emotions.
Yeah.
So what I would say to that is just to learn patience. Don't be so emotional, and let people have a chance to express themselves and listen. Be a good listener.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I think we lack in today's world that we just need to be a little bit more kinder to each other.
Yeah.
There's no need to be mean. There's no need to name call.
Yeah.
And there's no need to group people, because honestly, the people that I've encountered, I have looked at them as individuals.
Yeah.
I don't look at them as a liberal or as a Republican or as a Democrat or as a immigrant or as a transgender, or I don't look at people with these labels and these titles. Like, you are an individual human being who is experiencing life, and we already have it hard as it is with like going through a pandemic and going through like all these other issues that life just brings us. Why am I going to like put more on top of you and be like, well, also you're this and that, and label you and put you in all these boxes and categories? Like, no, when I meet somebody, you're a human and you're having a human experience. How can I help you? What's up? Like that's how I approach people, because I want everyone to succeed. I want people to be the best versions of themselves.
That's awesome, man. A little bit about MLK, since I know you look up to him a lot, but he was known through leading through conviction of love, man. What lesson from his leadership do you think today's world needs to hear most? Yeah,
so Martin Luther King Jr., he was just he was amazing. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know, or maybe you do know, but he was arrested 29 times. He was arrested 29 times. He graduated college, I think, at like 15 years old, and he was the youngest to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And so he's just accomplished so many things. But the reason why I admire him so much, and there's like a current conspiracy that he wasn't a true Christian, and that he was part of like the Masons, and he was like, a womanizer, and he had, all these affairs, which that part is a little bit true. Like, that's true. But like, people are trying to discredit his legacy. And that makes me so angry, because you don't do that to someone who was the civil rights leader. He led the movement in the 1960s. He was able to have that dream and make those speeches and lead with change in a nonviolent way, like his impact will forever be remembered and be admired by people from now and for years to come. And it saddens me that some people are trying to pull away from his legacy and untie his accomplishments just because of some conspiracies and some thoughtful intellectuals who are trying to say that, well, if you dig right down to the nitty gritty, like he did not believe that Jesus Christ was the son of, or whatever, like they're trying to pick and choose like all these like little beliefs. But from the videos I've seen, from the interviews I've seen of him, from hearing him speak, if he inspired you or me in any way, let nobody take that away from you. Let nobody try to dwindle that or dim that. He was a great leader. He was a great man.
Imagine the impact he had at that time with no social media and the ability to get out to millions of people.
Oh yeah.
How great of a leader would he be today? Like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think he would, I think we forget that a lot of people didn't like him back then.
Okay.
He was not liked back then because of the color of his skin, because he was this quote unquote Negro who was trying to make change in America. So there was a lot of haters, a lot of people who didn't like him. And I think even if he was leading in today's time and including social media, there would still be people who do not like him. And there's many leaders that are not liked, and then later on they're just, they get a holiday or they're revered and they're just like admired by so many. So I mean, I would love to follow Martin Luther King Jr. on Instagram and TikTok and see him lead if he was alive today, and see how he would use those platforms to gain a platform and a voice for millions and millions more. So it's crazy how social media kind of allows us to have access to so many people. It's a beautiful, it's a gift. I think some people will
definitely like a double-edged sword, right? Like kind of
in ways. I mean, I think if we use it and don't let it use us, when what I mean by that is like, if I am intentional about what I post and what I put out there into the world, then it's good. Your intentions are good. You're able to think about what you're doing. But if I'm just letting social media use me in terms of like being addicted to it, or posting just to post, or just to fit in, or just to be cool, or just to follow the latest trend, it's like you're not really using it, it's using you. And that's what I mean by that. So
that's good, man. Legacy and impact, brother, for you. When people look back on your journey, what do you want them to say you stood for as a leader?
I would want them to look back at Mark Siviano Jr. and say that he was brave, loving, kind-hearted, authentic, and that I brought service. I brought some sort of value to people that I encountered. So hopefully they say that, because I feel like my whole life I've been a giver, and I'm a believer in Jesus, and there's a Bible verse that says it's better to give than to receive. And that's how I want to live my life, as someone who gives, whether it's giving my time, my talents, my voice, whatever it is, my knowledge, my wisdom, my experiences. Like, I want to give, because it's better to give than to receive.
That's really good, man. And you're giving us time today, so thank you, man, again. But
same to you.
What do you want your daughter and your son, or those you mentor, to learn about leadership from watching you?
I mean, I think you said it right there, from watching you. Leadership is something that is done by example. You lead by example. I could speak on a podcast. You could read a book. You can listen to whatever you listen to and take it in as a leader. But those words and those whatever, words will only do so much. Like, you have to lead by example. Yeah. And I want to stress that so much, is like, even my kids, like, for example, my son, when he was like 4 or 5, he, I would introduce him to my friends, or we would go out for lunch, or we would do, hang out with friends. And at one point, I didn't teach him this. He just went up to my friend and was like, "Hey, nice to meet you," and like hugged him, looked him in the eye, was just like very like just like charismatic, like just such a good communicator in greeting someone, that I looked at him and I was like, that's my mini me. Yeah. Like, he greeted someone exactly how I would greet them. He said the things that I would say, like, and who taught him that? I didn't say, Levi, when you meet someone, like, this is what you say. You have to make eye contact. Like, I probably said that later, but like, I didn't teach him that. Like, he saw me do that, and then he mimicked that. He like did what I did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, so what I would say to people that I mentor, or people that I've, or even parents out there, kids and people who look up to you, they're going to do what you do. They're not really going to do what you say. They're going to act the way you act, and be the way you are. Yeah, so essentially you're creating like little mini me's. Yeah. So be careful what you create, because they're watching.
Good. Careful what you do, right? But for teenagers, man, it's hard to parent teenagers. They already got their own mind. They got their beliefs. And how do you, from being a teacher and seeing teenagers, and your daughter's 13, right? You said?
No, my daughter's she acts 13. No, she is 8. My daughter's
she's 8,
and my son's 10.
Yeah. Okay, so your son's older.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you see that are the struggles from parents where their kids are being rebellious, or going against what their parents are?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good question, and I don't have any teenagers yet of my own. But what I will say is this, and I think I've told you something like this before. You have to remember how it was when you were that age. Yeah. And I think that's key, because oftentimes we forget, like we expect our kids to act a certain way, but we forget how we felt when we were 12, when we were 13, when we were 14. Like, when we were that age, what was our mentality? We thought we knew it all. Yeah. We thought nobody could tell us anything. We thought parents were not cool. We thought that our friends were just the best thing in the world. Our friends were our saviors. And we thought that music was life. We thought that, put yourself in that space, and then you'll be more compassionate with your teenager. You'll be like, I get it. Like, I remember you had your first love. You had your first, crush. Like, that's all you have to do is put yourself in their shoes. Yeah. And then you'll find the right words to say. You'll find how to relate to them. I often say, like, hey, watch this movie with me, because it really helped me when I was 14. Okay. Listen to this song, because it really spoke to me when I was 20. Okay. When I was whatever. Like, you have to kind of go back into that mindset and remember what were the things that helped me, and then share it with your kids, and then tell them stories too, like about when you messed up, or when you fell in love, or they will act like they don't want to know, but then they'll be like, all right, what? Like, you told me that you met this girl at this age, or you went to the school dance and this is what happened, or, and they'll remember, and then they'll let their guard down, and they'll be like, all right, dad kind of knows, like, or mom experienced it too.
We got our daughter here today behind the scenes. Is that kind of true?
Is that a good answer? Oh, spot on. Okay. All right. Good. Yes. So the teenager in the room says I was spot on. Yeah. So just remember, don't forget how you were when you were that age.
That's great. And so if you could sit across MLK for an hour, what would you ask him?
Ooh, I would say, Dr. Martin Luther King, do you want to go to Raising Cane's with me, or In-N-Out? Because I'm gonna treat you. I'm gonna treat you somewhere. Yeah. No, I would. He'll probably Yeah, we'll see what he would pick. But yeah, no. And all jokes aside, I would ask him if he had a word for the year, because I pick a word every year.
Okay.
So like, I started doing this back in 2021. I think my first word that like carried me throughout my year, the first word in 2021 was accept. I think it was accept.
Okay.
So I felt like I really had to accept things in life, and I wanted to be accepted in every way, accept myself, accept experiences that have happened to me or that I've gone through. And so accept, and the word acceptance was like the word of 2021 that like followed me throughout the year.
Okay.
This year, 2024, my word was trust.
Okay.
And I really had to like know, like, am I trusting myself? Am I trusting God? Like, where is my trust in? Like, who do I trust? Do I trust this person? Do I trust that person? Like, do I trust my body that it's going to function well? Like, like trust was like a huge word for my life. And so going into a new year, I'm really thinking about what's going to be my word for 2025.
Okay.
And so I think I already have it. Like it kind of came to me 2 days ago, actually. And so I have it. I don't know if I should break the news on this podcast, what my word's going to be.
If you got it, break it.
But I would
just
ask
shoot me a
Mark,
DM later.
I know, right? I'll text you it. No, I would ask Martin Luther King Jr. if he had a word for the year.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll just tell you guys, because this is, I feel like I should announce my word of the year. So, you guys ready? All right. So my word for 2025 is believe.
Okay.
And so for me, that word, I really, I went through a year of trust. I'm trusting God. I'm not really trusting myself and putting all my trust in myself, because oftentimes we do that as adults. Everything's on us.
Yeah.
Like, I got to pay the bills. I got to work hard. I got to do this. I got to do that. Me. It's all on me. It's on my shoulders. Like, I have to do it. I have to do it. But it's like, you're putting all your trust on oneself. Like, what if you get cancer like I did? What if your legs stop working? Like, for me, I trusted that my throat was always going to work for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Until one day it stopped working. I couldn't eat or I couldn't drink anything. Imagine that. Like, you're eating and then all of a sudden you can't swallow. The food will not go down your throat anymore because your throat stopped. Like, then is your trust in your body and your throat, or is your trust in something greater than you, like God? So I had to learn trust this year. And so now I'm checking my beliefs, my belief system, my core beliefs. Like, what do I really believe? Am I believing this because society's telling me to believe it, or do I believe it because I know it's true?
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to get canceled for this too, because I'm going to bring up a name. Oprah. Oprah, she said that, and I quote, she said, "You don't get what you want, you get what you believe." So you could want everything. I want to be a billionaire. But do you believe that you can be a billionaire one day?
Yeah.
I want a fancy house and, I want to live in this city. Do you believe you could live in that city?
Yeah.
Or do you just want it? So once you switch from like wanting to actually believing that you can, it changes everything.
Okay.
So for me, I really want to start believing for the things that are in my life that I want to like have in my future. I want to believe that I can create wealth for my life. I want to believe that I am a good speaker, that I am the best wedding officiant, that I am a great father.
Yeah.
Like, do I really believe that? Or am I saying it? Or am I hoping I'm the best? Or do I believe it? So that's my word for 2025. Awesome. It's going to carry me for the next, 365 days.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's a good word.
Thank you.
So, we're down to the last question, bro. We're at the ending of the pod. But for someone listening who wants to become a better leader, where do you think they should start?
Well, first of all, evaluate yourself and ask yourself, am I influencing anybody? Is there anybody watching me right now?
Okay.
Is my little brother watching me? Are my students watching me? Are my kids watching me? Is the company watching me? And if your answer is no, then you got to be a follower. Like just study followership, and you're not really a leader at this moment.
Yeah.
But that's number one. Do you have influence on anybody? Are you mentoring anybody? And if you are, then you're a leader. So then two, what type of leader are you? And there's a great website. It's called I'm gonna pull it up right now where you can.
We'll try to link it too.
Yeah, we'll try to link it. It's a website where it tells you, like, you answer a few questions and it tells you what type of leader you are.
Yeah.
And so I took it, and they told me that I'm a democratic leader.
Okay.
So I'm for the people.
Yeah.
I want people to like speak into my decisions.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So it's called I think it's called yourmindset.com. Let me double check. Oh yeah. No, it's called verywellmind.com.
Okay.
So verywellmind.com. And it will tell you the pros and cons of what type of leader you are.
Okay.
So that's number two. So number one is, do you have any influence or anybody following you and with eyes on you? Number two, take that quiz and figure out what type of leader you are. And number three, I would say to study leadership, read books on leadership.
Yeah.
Like today, I brought a book that I'm reading currently. It's called, you'll be like, oh, really? Wow. Martin Luther King Jr. on leadership.
Oh, really? Wow.
Are you surprised? So, so it's a great book. Barely started it, but so far it's just amazing, like the things that he says on leadership.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to pick a book on leadership and read it. It could be an audio book.
Yeah, I like audio better.
So I like audiobooks as well. But every time I have an audio, I get the physical copy, like either after or during, so I could just kind of like have it as well. But there's another book right here called The 21 Refutable Laws of Leadership. It's by John C. Maxwell. So there's another book, I think, that's very practical. It sets the 21 laws, and you just kind of like go by each of them. And it guarantees you at the end that if you follow these laws, then people will follow you. And so it's a great book, easy read. And you could even like just Google the laws. You don't even have to buy the book. Just Google the laws and kind of see where they fit.
Okay.
And then this is a personal preference of mine. It's called The Ride of a Lifetime. This is Bob Iger. He is the CEO of Disney.
Okay.
And so in this book, it just talks about his experiences, his hardships, and how he became a great CEO, a great boss to be the boss of Disney, that's you own big. Hulu, own ESPN, like you own like all these companies, you buy the rights to all of what's his name's films for Star Wars, like he did a lot during his leadership time. And so if you're interested in Disney and a CEO of how he becomes just like a boss, this is a great book. It's not for everybody, but if you have an interest in Disney, I would read that. And last but not least, it's my favorite book on leadership. One of my favorite books on leadership. It's called Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Okay.
I encourage everybody to go out and get this book because it really talks about being vulnerable and authentic, topics that we talked about in this podcast about just being transparent, being real. But it also talks about like evaluating your values as a leader, because ultimately your values are going to shape other people's values. And what I tell everyone is like, you are creating replicas of who you are as a leader. Whoever's looking at you, you're creating a mini you to them. So you got to watch out how you portray yourself or what type of mini leaders you're creating. And good leaders produce leaders. So I think it's important to understand that. But yeah, those are all the books that I have dove into in the recent years that have spoken to me. Some bonus books are followership, servant leadership. Those are more academic books. Man. But yeah, study leadership. So those are the three things. Do you have influence and do you have followers and people watching you? Have you taken the quiz to know what type of leader you truly are? And are you reading up on books and studying leadership and honing your craft and being a better leader? Because there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you, Mark the Servant. Thank you so much, bro, for coming again.
I know. Last time, can you tell them what happened last time?
Oh, well, we had to reshoot, guys, and we're here at take 2. But it was great. Thank you for coming out, bro. And
thank you, Ricardo.
If you've stuck out this long, that means you kind of liked it or you liked it. Please like it, subscribe, and thank you, guys.
Wait. I know we've gone like overtime, but can I say a bonus thing that you asked last time that you didn't ask this time? You asked me last time, you were like, is there anything that you want to say that maybe we didn't cover that you want to just kind of put out there? And there is one thing that I do want to say. I just want to apologize to anybody who I've ever led in the wrong direction because I'm not perfect. And so anybody who I let down, knowingly or unknowingly, I take full responsibility for my actions and I take accountability. And I'm sorry if I let you down as a leader. But on the flip side, anybody who's given me a chance and anybody who has allowed me to speak into their life or take them out for lunch or anybody who's following me right now who admires me, thank you for giving me a chance. And thank you for allowing me to be a voice in your life. To my kids, thank you for allowing me to be a voice in your life and an example, so I do not take that lightly. And I think it's a privilege to be able to speak into people's lives. So that's what I want to say to others.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks
if
for having me.
Forgive him because this guy's a man right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. Woo.